Okay. Yeah. So today is the day 5 of the testing. So today we will start with requirement traceability matrix. So what is requirement traceability matrix mean? So it will capture, so in this requirement traceability matrix, suppose we have a requirement 1. So we have requirement 1, requirement 2, requirement 3, like that we have 10 requirements. So these requirements we will get from customer or client. So after getting this requirement, so based on the requirements, first the testing team will pick up the test scenarios based on the requirement. Suppose for requirement 1, we will be having test scenario 1, test scenario 2. Requirement 2 is a small one. We have test scenario 3, only one test scenario for requirement 2. So then test scenario 4, test scenario 5, and test scenario 6. So for each and every requirement, we will be corresponding these requirements with test scenarios and test cases. Test cases. So then for this test scenario 1, so we will be having test case 1, test case 2, test case 3. So for test scenario 2, we will be having test case 1, test case 2. So then again for test scenario 3, we will be having TC1, TC2, TC3, TC4. Again for TC5, we will be having TC1. For TC5, we have TC1, TC2. For TC6, we have, for TS6, we have TC1. So like that, so mapping the requirements to the test scenarios and test scenarios to the test cases. So this is called as requirement traceability matrix, so that we wouldn't miss any of the test case, so that none of the test scenario and none of the test case for this requirement is missed, so that we will maintain everything in a requirement traceability matrix form. So if you want to test this requirement, so you will immediately straight away go to the test scenarios what are available. So then what are the test cases which are available, you will test them. So once you test this one, so this testing this requirement is done. So for that you will be maintaining requirement traceability matrix. So what is requirement traceability?
Hello, Likita.
Yes.
Yeah, for requirement 1, we can have so many test scenarios like test scenario 1 to till 10 also.
Yeah, so so many test scenarios we have. Suppose if it is a login test case, so if you take only the login test case, we have two scenarios for login test case. One is login with valid credentials and login with invalid credentials.
Okay.
So in login with valid credentials, you have only one test case. You will give both the username and password, right? So in login with invalid credentials, you have so many test cases. So you will give valid username and invalid password, or you will give invalid username or valid password.
Okay.
In third case, you will give both invalid and valid, both invalid. So here you have three test cases for one scenario, and you have two scenarios for one requirement.
Oh yeah, two scenarios. Yeah,
Yeah,
got it.
So for first one requirement, you can have so many test scenarios. So for one test scenario, you can have so many test cases. So that see here in login itself, you didn't miss any of the test scenario.
Yeah.
So because of this thing, so it is very easy to maintain the traceability. You can trace it back. So if you write the test case, you will correspond this test case with the test scenario, and you will correspond this test scenario with the requirement. So then what will happen? So you won't miss anything. So that is the main idea of this requirement traceability matrix.
Yeah, anyone can find this with
correct. So I will show you how to write the test case based on the requirement traceability matrix also. So let me give the definition and a few points of here. So it will, what is requirement traceability matrix? Requirement traceability. So this is commonly called as RTM. So here it will capture all requirements proposed by the client. So document maps and trace user requirements with the test cases. Main purpose of RTM is to see that all the test cases are covered so that no functionality should miss while doing software testing. So how will this requirements and this test cases will be mapped is based on the requirement ID. Based on requirement ID, test scenario ID, and test case ID. So based on these IDs, you will trace it back and forth. So this is about requirement traceability matrix. Now coming up to how to write the test cases. So before showing you how to write the test cases, there are few mandatory fields which you should know in the test case workbook or a test case sheet. So these are the mandatory fields which is required to write the manual test cases. So first one is project name. So this is name of the project which you will be writing the test case. Second one is module name. Suppose if you take Amazon, for example, Amazon. So in Amazon, you have so many modules like apparel, like groceries. So you have so like shoes, like footwear. You have you have accessories. You have electronics. Like that, you have so many modules. So this is called the module name. So in your project, which module you will be writing this test case? So this is module name. So then created by. This created by is the person who is creating this test case, and created date. This is the date on which you will be creating your test case. Then test case description. No, then reviewed by. So after writing the test case, so there will be the person who will be reviewing your test case. So without reviewing it, your test case by the test lead or test analyst or the highest team member, so you cannot say that your test design is complete. So there should be reviewed by and reviewed date. After writing your test case, you need to send your test case document to test lead or test analyst to analyze your test, or the senior member in your team, in your testing team, to review, to get it reviewed by them. Then after test scenario ID. I told you, right? So there will be test scenario ID for each test scenario. So this is a test scenario ID. So which we will be mapping this module, this requirement, and the test case. This is test scenario ID and test scenario description. The scenario description. So then there will be test case ID, then test case description. So then there will be precondition. There will be post condition. So precondition will be like, what are the preconditions? that is required to test your test case. And post conditions, right? Once you test your test case, so what will be the final, so suppose if you were logging into the application, so what is the final thing? So navigating to the home page. So once you click on login button, you should be in the home page. So that is the post condition. So then what is next one is expected result. Expected result would be like, so what are you expecting after doing this test case, after executing this test case, and actual result is after running the test cases which you run. So what is the actual result which you get? Suppose if you are logging into the application, so you need to give the steps will be like you enter the valid username, enter the valid password, click on login button. So after login, so what you will expect? So you will be expecting the home page. So expected result will be home page. So if something is happened, if after clicking on login, you will be getting 404 error not 404 not found. So then what is the actual result you got? You got an error page. So then there is a mismatch between expected result and actual result. So in that case, the test case is failed. So like that, you will mark your test case as pass or fail. So that is the result. You will result will be pass or fail. And status. Status. So result or status both are same. So you will be marking them as pass or fail. So then executed by. There is no hard and fast rule that if you create the test case, if you write the test scripts, it is not mandatory that you only have to execute the test case. So you can write the test case and someone can provide review the test case, and he can provide it to some other person to execute the test case. So that's why executed by and created by may not be may be same or may not be same. That is not mandatory. So then executed date. Then comments. So what are all the comments you see? You can provide it. Suppose if it is like like an error, or if there is a slowness in the application, so you can mention that the application is taking so much time to see the home page. Like that, you can mention the comments. These are all the fields which you should know before proceeding to write the test case. So before writing the test case, let me show you how to write the test case. So usually in manual testing, we will write the test case in the Excel format. So like this, you will write the test cases. So before this, you will map it with requirement ID, test case ID, like that. What is the priority of the test case? So like this, you will be writing your test case. I'll show you how to write the test case. Before that, I will explain you each and every field. Here, if you see, this is the requirement ID, so which is corresponding to the requirement. So then you will be writing the test case ID. So what is the test case ID for your test case? So if you have a test scenario, you can write a test scenario, then test case. Here, one more field will be there. Insert, it could be like requirement, it will be test scenario ID. Scenario. So then you will be having test case ID, then the priority of the test. So if it is like high priority, medium priority, low priority. Suppose if you take the login functionality is the high priority test case. How will you find the priority? So because this is like, if you cannot do the login, you cannot do nothing in the application. So that is like, this is the high priority test case. You will mention the priority here. So then module name. So then test title. So here let's start writing. So suppose you have a requirement like RQ_001. So then how will you write your test scenario? It will start with TS underscore RQ001 underscore 001. You will write your test scenario like this. So you will map your test scenario to the requirement and you will give the number to the test scenario. So like this, you will map your test scenario to the test case. So then how will you write the test case? So you will write TC underscore. So TS001. So you will be mapping your test ID, test scenario ID to the test case. Or how you will do? So you will take this entire thing and you will map it here underscore 001. Here, if you see your test case ID, you can see which test requirement it is taking and which requirement it is taking. Like test in from your test case ID, you will get the requirement ID and the test scenario requirement ID and the test scenario ID. Like this, you will map your test scenario and requirement to your test case. So then you will write your priority, whether it is like high priority or medium priority or low priority. So then you will do, suppose if this is a login module. So usually for login, it will be only login module. So then test site, test title, test the login, with valid credentials. Suppose if you are writing too many test cases, so then there wouldn't be test case ID. So this test case ID will be here. This will be here. Here only test scenario ID. Suppose if you are writing too many testing scenarios for this one, so you will be adding test scenario IDs in the previous. Suppose if you have this one, right? Insert. So then yes. So like this, you will be having. So you will remove this one from here. Write it here. So for this test scenario one, so this is your test case. So like this, you will be writing. So then you will be writing the component name. So component name is nothing but the module. So then you will write the test case. So like that. So right now we have removed these two things, right? So then test design, right? So that is then test design date. So you will give the today's date in mm. Usually you will give it in mm, dd, and then dd, y/4. So then test executed by. So this one, so test executed by and execution date will be the last. So once you are done with the designing your test cases, reviewing your test cases, so then only, so you will be writing the executing your test cases. After that, so you will execute the test cases. So then this test title will be here itself. Here we have test case description. So test title or test case description, both is same. So then description. Yeah. So you can remove these two things. So I got this template. So and I am editing this template. So what is the precondition? So what is the preconditions? Means precondition is you should have a valid URL to perform the login. Valid URL. So then one more thing which I need to explain to you guys is, yeah. So I will explain each and everything here. So then you have precondition is you should have a valid URL and dependencies. Suppose you have any dependencies here. So suppose if you take, you are doing the searching the page in an Amazon. So before searching the page, so what do you have dependencies? So you should have all the products added in the application. Once the products are added, so then only you can perform the search page. So that is called dependencies. Dependency means without this thing, you cannot proceed further with your test case. So that is called the dependency. Suppose if you are doing such a project test case, so you will do, so all the products should be available in the application. So that is your dependency. So if it doesn't have any dependencies, you will leave it as blank. So then if you come here, so this is your test case, test scenario ID. So then you have test case ID. So then module name. So then what is the test step? Now navigate to the test steps. So here you will be having one more field, step number. It should be step 1 like that, step 1, step 2 like that. Step 1. So then here in the test step, you will be writing your test step. Navigate to URL. So your step 2 will be enter valid URL. Then there will be step 3. So if you want, so you can take the already existing template and you can edit it like this, or you can create your own template from the scratch. So there will be 2 ways, but usually in your projects, you already have a template. So for each and every project, so there will be already one template, so which is designed by the test analyst or test lead. So he will be designing this test document and he will just provide you this template. So then, according to your test cases, you will edit your template like this. Then your step 3. Enter valid username. So this one will be enter valid password. So then you will be having one more list. Enter, click on login. This is step 4. So step 4, click on login button. So just navigate login to Amazon. Just take example Amazon. Login to Amazon. So then valid URL will be www.amazon.com. So this is your URL. So you will use this URL. So then this is the step 1 and step. Oh, here you have already step name. Okay, just delete this one. Okay. So these are the step 1. So this is your test scenario, requirement 1, and this is your test case. So after that, test data. So here you will be having the test data to perform this one. So here you will be having the navigate to URL. So you need URL to perform this test step. So here test data will be the URL. So then enter valid username. So let's take the URL username as email ID. So then enter valid password, right? So you just give this is the password and click on login button. To perform this one, you don't need anything. So just by you just keep it as blank. If it doesn't have any step, if it doesn't require any test data, you leave it as blank. So for each and every step, you should give the expected result. Expected result will be like user should. Yeah. So expected result will be so for usually for this one, if you navigate to the exam environment, you should see the login page. For this step, the expected result should be the login page. Once you navigate to the URL, so you should see the login page. So expected result should be user should be able to see the login page. or login page is available. So you can write the steps as per your usually in English language. So whatever you want, however you want, you can write this steps like in basic English. So but that should be so if suppose one outside person, if he come and if he see he doesn't know anything about the application, so we can just come and see these test cases, and he can able to execute these test cases. He could able to perform these actions, so that in that way you need to write your test cases. So able to enter username. So what is the expected result? Able to enter password and click on login button. So after clicking on login button, able to see home page. So that is the, so after clicking on user should be, so here everything, user should be able to enter the username, user should be able to enter the password, user should able to see the home page. So that is the expected. So actual result and all. So this one. So this one should be empty. So by the time you are writing the test case, this should be empty. So then all these things you don't need actually. And then you will be having comments. You will be having a field for comments. So then component name. Since we can. So this is how your test case document should. Suppose if you are writing this requirement for this requirement, writing this test case for this requirement, so this sheet name should be requirement. So usually in your testing projects, for each and every requirement, there should be one test case. So this is for your requirement one, this is for your test case, and this is the test scenario ID. So just
Likita.
yeah.
Yeah, in the we have to mention the description in the every steps for every step.
Yeah, in every step, or you can just yeah, I forgot to
Yeah, precondition and the description. The
for each. Okay, preconditions, the user should have the yeah. So here, what is the precondition for this to perform this test case? Because the valid username and password. So you should have account created in order to do the login, or precondition should be.
for this test case is a valid. We are using the valid user and valid username and password.
Yeah.
For this, for all the 4 steps.
Yeah, for all the 4 steps. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here, yeah. Earlier we see, right, for login, we have login positive scenario and negative scenario.
Yes.
So for positive scenario, you have only one test case. Enter valid username and valid password.
That's right. Yes.
For negative scenario, you will be having 3 test cases.
3. Yes.
TC2, TC3 and TC4. This is with the valid username and invalid password. And this one will be invalid username and valid password. And this should be
both invalid.
Valid. Invalid. Yeah. So this should be TS. Positive one will be TS1, test scenario 1. And this should be test scenario 2.
Okay.
So this should be test case 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So and this requirement should be 1. Requirement 1.
Oh, then we are not giving the different number for the test cases. It's a negative. Often we are giving the test scenario 2. Then we are for test scenario 2 we
should be for each and every test case ID should be unique. So that's why we will give it for with test case 2 only.
Okay, got it.
So that's so suppose if you have third scenario, it will be like TS3. But the test case will be TC5.
5. Yes,
Yeah,
got
in
it.
that case, we will stop. We will suppose if we wouldn't tag the test case. Right now, we wrote this test case by tagging the test scenario ID, right? So sometimes you will write your test case as TC001 in this project. This is some other project's test case. So they wrote it with only test case. So they didn't use the requirement traceability matrix to map this one. So we can do that one only. So each and everything will be for our convenience. By looking at the test case, you can pick up that requirement ID and test scenario ID. So that's why we are mapping this one. But that is your convenience. In your project, if you write the test case as TC001, TC002, that is also fine.
Okay.
But you will be maintaining the mapping in some other format. Like in an Excel sheet, you will write all your test requirements and you will map your requirements with the test scenario ID and you will map it with the test case ID. Like that, you can map it, or like you can use RTM to write like this.
Yeah, I got it.
For your convenience and your team's process, how it is following up in your team. But ideal process will be this way. Okay. So this is your first scenario. So for the second scenario, same, just to copy these steps. Just to paste it here. So your requirement is same. So you don't have to add your requirement again and again. Just to keep it here. No, this is the test scenario. Okay? So usually for each and every requirement, we will maintain a separate test sheet. So usually it depends on your module. Suppose in your you have a module for electronics. You have 10 requirements in electronics. So you will maintain a sheet. So this is this you will save it as electronics. Test cases. Like this, you will save it. You will save it. And then for that, if you have requirement 2, suppose if you have requirement 2, you will give it RQ underscore 002. If you have requirement 3, it would be RQ underscore 003. For each and every requirement, you can write your test cases like this. So same thing. So again, you need to give all these details. Oh, what is happening? We will copy it here. Like this. So you will paste it here. So depends on your requirement, you will write your test case according to this. So right now our test scenario is 002. So test scenario requirement is 001 and this is 2. And then here your test case ID. So here if you see TS002, someone wrote it. So here requirement will be 001 and test scenario will be 002 and your test case will be 2. And then login, step 1 will be login. So step 1 will be same. Here valid username. This one is valid password. Click on login button. So after logging into the button, logging into the application. So for this also, this one to verify. So here you can write it to verify the login functionality with valid credentials. Valid credentials or valid username and password. This is the test case description for this one. So this test case description and test case ID. So for entire test case, you will write it in the start. So for the second one, it would be with valid username and invalid password. So this one will be there. So password, I will change it. So and then this one you are able to enter. So able to see error message. What is the error message? Invalid
Password.
user. No, I mean like usually for all the applications it could be invalid username or password.
Okay.
So what is the exact error message to the security constraints? So that is the second one. So for third one, how will you write? So this is the same. So your test case ID 1, 2. So here also, so for the second scenario, you will be writing all these test cases, right? So here you wouldn't give the required scenario ID because you have only 2 scenarios. Under this scenario, this test case comes. Under this scenario, this test case comes. The next test case also will come under this scenario itself. This scenario itself. So that's why we wouldn't change the scenario name. We just only change the test case number. This is 3. So here you will write your test case, login page, enter valid. Enter here if this is invalid. And this is valid. So here you will give the this one. Next to this one. Here password will be. So then click on login button. Here also you will be able to see this error message. So then same with the so test case 4. Login. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So this one. So this is both invalid. So then click on login button. So here and then able to see invalid username and password. Like this, you will write your test cases. So usually when you will write the test cases, you will see the requirements document, so which you get from the BA. So you will see the requirement document, and based on the requirement document, you pick up the test scenario and you will write the test case for this. Okay. If possible, so you can add one more step here. Insert. This is like scenario description. Like here, this is the test scenario name, and here verify login functionality with valid verify valid positive flow. And here this one will be negative. So here positive flow, how will you will do? Positive flow, you will test entire thing in a positive direction so that this path it wouldn't break anywhere. So it will be like a happy path. So it will just follow the standard norms and regulations, and it will go through the everything. It will pass everything. Negative scenario means you will test it negatively. What if I give the wrong username? What if I give the wrong password? Like this, you will test the negative scenario. So here, this many ways you can test a simple login functionality. Suppose if you have different credentials, suppose if you have an admin credentials, you have a sales representative credentials, you have a customer credentials, you have a project manager credentials, or you have a person who is working for Amazon. So you have a credentials as an employer. Like that, you will test the login credentials with so many different cases. So this is the way how you will write the test case. So then after writing this test case, so once the developer has, so while writing the test case, you don't have access to the application. So this is from the requirement documents only. You will pick up the test scenarios and you will write the test cases based on the things which you have understood from the requirement document. So after that one, suppose how the requirement document will be there. So suppose take the requirement document. I will just show you an example.
Hey, Likita, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
In every requirement, there is a scenario is a positive flow in the positive flow and the negative flow, no?
Yeah, so it is not necessarily there would be negative flow. Yeah, but all the requirements there would be positive and negative flow. So you need to test it in both the directions, both
Oh.
positive and negative flow.
Yeah, it
Correct?
means we have to write the both the in the positive flow and then in the negative flow the test cases.
Correct. Correct. Because if something is wrong and still your application is working fine, if you give the negative scenario also, so then that is a serious issue, right? So by giving the invalid credentials also, if you could able to log into the application, so it is a serious issue. So there will be a lot of business. So those people, so they didn't pay to create credentials. Suppose if Amazon, if you doesn't pay for the membership, still you could able to log in and view all the movies and all. So then there is a business loss for Amazon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that so in order to avoid all those situations, you need to write both positive and negative test cases. Get the requirement document. So suppose this is a requirement document from the customer which you got. So you have this module. So module will be, so you will be having all these details in the requirement document also. Module and all. So module name. Module will be electronics. So you will be having requirement ID. So then functionality will be login. Login. So here how it will be. So first step will be here. There will be like a page. Okay. As soon as you give the URL, you need to navigate to login page. So this will be, so like this, there will be like steps. So in login page, left corner or right corner.
Likita,
Yeah.
please increase the font size.
Okay. Now,
Yeah. Okay.
in login page, on the top right corner, there should be username field. Username text box. Text box of length. So there will be, so they will mention the pixel size, some 120 into 120 into 100 pixels. Like that, they will be mentioned. So then, so top right corner under username text box, password text field of length. So this is like, so this is 120. So like that, they will be mentioning the each and every minute detail, the how much pixels, so how much length will be there. So then here what they will mention. So username length 8 to 14 characters. Should accept only should accept only lowercase letters.
Hello, Likita.
Yeah.
We need to write test cases for this. All this. What are you writing on this
No,
note?
so this is not the test case. This is the requirement document what we will be getting from the customer.
Okay.
Yeah, so for the customer, he will explain each and every step that should be in your application.
Okay, but how can we use this? I mean, we don't need to,
Yeah, I will tell you. Just finish me this one. So then I will
Okay.
tell you.
I-
Lowercase letters and numbers should and no special characters. So this is about username field. In login field, it should be of 120 pixel. One at least one uppercase letter, one lowercase, at least one lowercase. And it should be of 14 characters, at least one uppercase, at least one lowercase, at least one character. It should be like this. So then here, enter password field. There login button. So it should be in blue color. Letters in white font. Size should be 2:1. Inches. And so after clicking on login button, user should navigate to page. If not, there should be error. Invalid username or password. So this is the requirements which you will be getting from the client. So for each requirement, so the client for each requirement or for entire project, he will provide you a document. So this document will be provided to the BA. So then BA, what he will do based on the requirements, he will divide all the requirements into this RQ001 or RQ002, and he will provide us the SRS document. In the SRS document, you will be having all the requirements. So then based on the SRS document, so you will write this test cases. So you will see, oh, what is the functionality? Okay, login is a functionality. So then you will see what is the length. What is the length? So what is the things and all. So based on this SRS document, so which you will be getting from the customer. So you will pick the test scenarios and test cases. So here, if you see, there are chances for negative test cases. So then you will be writing the negative test cases for login. So like this, based on the requirement document, so which you'll be getting from the customer. So you will pick the test scenario and test cases. So then there will be one more requirement, search for the product. The functionality. So this is 2. Your functionality will be. So here again for the search for the product, he will be mentioning the terms like how the search for the product. So he will be giving the functionality as search for the product button should be in the center of the page. He will be writing. So suppose after you log in, this is the home page. This is the home page. So you will be getting a message like login successful here or welcome your name. Like suppose welcome Nikita, he will be mentioning. Then after that, he will be mentioning search for the products which you want. Like that you will be getting. So then you will be having a search box. So you can search anything. So this search box length should be this one, width should be this much. So that requirement document will contain each and everything. So based on the requirements of which you are getting here, you will be searching this, you will be using those requirements to write your test cases. So in this way, you will write your test cases. So here for search functionality, you will be getting this one. So then for the search field, you need to write the test cases. So how will you write the test cases? So enter, so what are the test steps? Enter, login to the applications with valid credentials. So without logging to your application, without the valid credentials, you wouldn't be going to the search field. So that's why to perform the test case, to perform the testing for search field, so first step will be valid logging to the application with valid credentials. So then what you will write? Enter anything. Suppose enter mobile in search field and then click on enter. So after clicking on enter, so you need to see all the images related to the mobile phone. Like that you will write the test cases, or you will do your search with using Apple iPhone 13 Pro. So then you will be getting all the products related to iPhone 13 Pro. Suppose if you are not getting, suppose if you are getting any Samsung product, so then this is a failure. So then you will mark your test case as passed or failed based on this here. So like that you will write your test cases and you will perform the testing. So once picking up the test cases, reading this requirement document and writing your test cases. So the developers will also use this one. So they will use mostly this pixel. Everything will be for the developers to write their logic. Suppose if you see here, this will be of login button should be of blue color, letter should be of white font. These things for the developers. So they need to develop their code according to this requirements. So the button should be of blue. On that button, the login font, everything should be in white color. So this thing is for the developers. So then after writing this test case, so once the developer develops their code and move it to the QA environment, so based on this test case document, so you need to perform your testing. So let's go to login page. So you need to perform your steps according to each and every step. So you need to enter this username, this password, and you need to test. Suppose this one is passed or not. So actual result is, so expected result is this one. Actual result is what you are getting. So whether you could able to enter the username or password. So these things are actual result. So actual result is able to actual result is navigated to application. So here entered username. This is the expected. So entered password is the expected result. Viewed homepage. This is the expected result. If expected result and actual result is passed, so then you need to, you have one more thing will be there, status. So this is pass. So then this is pass. Like this. If each and every step is passed, so then your test case is passed. If anything is failed in between, suppose you couldn't able to enter the username, so it is showing the text box, but you couldn't able to enter anything, then this is failed. So if this is if each and every test step is passed, so then only your test case is passed. So if something is failed here, then only your test case overall result is failed. So here there will be one more insert. So that is result. So here for each test case, you need to enter it as pass or fail. So this test case here, everything is passed. So then only this is passed. If something is failed, then this overall result is fail. So that's why. So that is how you will write your manual test cases. So if you want to practice, I will keep this test case document in our SharePoint. So if you want to practice, you just write test case for the search functionality. So both for positive flow and negative flow. Just try to come up with the test cases. So just and put it back in, or okay, just try to come up with the test cases. Tomorrow we'll review your test steps, and we will proceed further with Selenium. Okay. Are you guys clear?
Yeah. The test cases means we are with the new case is the login, searching, and all those things.
Yeah, just skip this login part. Just straight away go to your search functionality. So that is just
Okay.
give the requirement ID. So requirement ID will be 003 and 004. For positive functionality, it is 003, and for negative functionality, it is 004. And there will be only one functionality, one test case for each. For searching with positive and searching with the negative flow, there will be only one test case. Or try to come up with as many test cases as you want. We can filter it down.
Okay.
Write the page. Module name will be search functionality, and this just the test steps and the expected and actual result and the status passed or failed. We will review that one, so that you guys will also be aware of how to write the test cases. Okay, let me stop the recording. Then we will have what doubts. So.